All right, hi boys and girls, it is Mrs. Reyes again. So we're going to work on another one of our problems for elapsed time. We're actually going to work on number 4 because number 4 is a little bit of a challenging one. Now for those of you that are really wanting to challenge yourself, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a few minutes to work on this problem before we go over it together, and then you can go ahead and check to see what you did. So I'm going to start, of course, by reading the problem, and it says, Mrs. Howard's class is going on a field trip. They leave school at 9:04 a.m. and they get back to school at 2:25 p.m. How long were they gone? So this is an interesting problem. We know what we have is we have a start time, which is going to go here on the beginning part of our open number line, but we also have an ending time this time, which means we're going to end that all the way over here at the end of the open number line. So what we need to figure out is the elapsed time, the time that's in the middle. Now what additionally makes this challenging is that we're going from AM hours all the way to PM hours. So it's going to be interesting to be able to count those hours. So to start setting this up, I'm going to read it one more time. Mrs. Howard's class is going on a field trip. They leave school at 9:04 a.m. So I'm going to start by making my 9:04 a.m. all the way on this side on the beginning of my open number line. Then it says, and they get back to school at 2:25 p.m. So I'm going to make a line. I'm going to write 2:25 p.m. And I'm really noticing the difference between my AM and my PM hours. So now I have to figure out how long they were gone. So I think it's easiest to count, first of all, by hours. So I'm going to go ahead and start making some rainbows, some jumps. And I'm just going to put 1 in there. And so if it was 1H, that just stands for 1 hour, I would know from 9 plus 1 hour would be 10:04. Another hour would be 11:04, and we're still in the AM hours. Now this is where it gets tricky. We're going to jump again, and we're going to put 1 hour. Now I'm going from 11:04 to 12:04, but the interesting thing here is that I'm going from my AM to my PM. So I have to make sure that I record that in my notes, in my work. All right, so if I jump by another hour plus 1, it's going to be 1:04. And then I can even jump by 1 more hour. I know I didn't put an hour, an H in there, that's okay. I'm now at 2:04. Now I'm going to stop jumping by hours because I'm at 2:04 and I am at my PM hours. Now I'm trying to get to 2:25, so I'm really, really close. So now that I'm at 2:04, I'm going to start jumping by 10 minutes until I get really close to 2:25. I'm already in the same hour, I just need to get my minutes to be the same. So I'm going to jump by 10, and I'm going to put an M in there to show that it's minutes. So if I'm at 2:04 plus 10 minutes, and this is where it gets tricky because of the spacing, 14. If I jump by another 10 minutes, it would be 2:24. Agreed? Of course you agree. Plus 10, put an M, and now we're at 2. I'm going to have to write that on the side. I want to make sure it's clear. 2:24. So now the last thing I need to figure out is well, how much more time is between 2:24 p.m. and 2:25? That's pretty easy. It's only 1 minute. And I'm going to put an M-I-N-U-T-E over here just so I can see it. Now the big trick about this is I need to figure out what the elapsed time is. So I need to go back into my rainbows and you need to count how many hours and then how many minutes. So when I count my hours, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are all my hours. So I know in my final answer, I'm going to write 5 hours. And now I need to count my minutes. And I'm going to be careful counting them to make sure that I get them all in there. So I've got 10 here and 10 here, which is 20. 10 and 10 is 20, plus 1 more is 21. And then I'm going to write 21 minutes. So in my final response, I've got 5 hours and 21 minutes of elapsed time, and that's how long Mrs. Howard's class was gone at their field trip.